You're listening to the Teach Better Talk podcast featuring expert educators eager to share progressive tactics to reach more students. Teach Better Talk is created by teachers and fueled by passion. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 224 of Teach Better Talk. My name is Ray Heward, and as always, I am with my very obnoxious co-host. You all know him well, and you probably like him a little bit, Mr. Jeff Gargas. Jeff, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, but I feel like you've been using obnoxious a lot recently.
Well, maybe that's a hint. Are you feeling a little obnoxious? Because maybe it's me like, hey, nudge, nudge, buddy.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I've used it 6 out of the last 10 times, buddy. That means you're obnoxious.
Here's the problem. Here's the real deal. I actually have not talked to you in like 3 days, if not 4 or 5 days. And when I say talk, like we've interacted, there's been messages back and forth.
Not
but
much.
Like, I literally have not seen you. I feel like we haven't had a conversation that's been more than like 14 seconds. So when I'm coming up with a word, I don't really have any besides he's like a ghost. Like my friend Ghost Jeff Gargas, you know, it's like, I don't know what he's up to. I haven't talked to him in a while. It's been busy.
Well, I gotta tell you, like when we don't talk for a while, I get this weird sinking feeling that I'm like, I think Ray's mad at me. And she's just like, Ray just ran away and she's just gone. She's like, forget the podcast, forget the Teach Better team. Like, I'm out of here. I'm moving somewhere. I don't know where you'd go. Probably like Ireland or something. And you're just gone. Yeah,
you know what?
See that reaction? See? That's why I worry right there.
That does sound exciting. I would love to move to Ireland. Probably Scotland, though. That's where my sister lives.
Scotland is what I meant, yeah.
But I feel like that mentality, Jeff, is a little, like, immature. Like, that's like in second grade when you're like, Jillian's not talking to me. He must, or she must hate me. Like, we have to be better than that, buddy. Like, it's okay if we don't have, like, 3-hour-long conversations every, so often. It's okay.
No, I'm going to disagree. It's not okay. It's not. Second grade or not, it's not okay, and it has to stop. Anyway,
hey, Jeff, I have something I want to talk about on this podcast. Can we transition here?
This wasn't it? I thought this was it. No? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
I did want to hear about how much you missed me. That is true. I will be saving this recording, and I'll be playing it before I go to bed every night of like, oh my gosh, Jeff really does love me. But here's where we're at. You did this cool thing that I actually think was really cool, and I just wanted to like high five you here virtually, if you don't mind. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're awkwardly high fiving. But you released a brand new course at Teach Better Academy, and it was on the most perfect topic that I think every educator is in need of, and it's the perfect thing to explore, in my opinion, on like a weekend or Thanksgiving break. So will you tell us a little bit about your course that just launched and you can get if you're a Teach Better Academy member, because it's a part of your membership, obviously. And you can share all the details. I'm just going to let you talk.
Yeah, well, first off, we launched the course as a team, right? I just happen to be the face that's on the video for a little bit and the voice you have
It's your face that they have to learn from.
Yeah, so the course just launched. It is called Time Management 101, honestly, for lack of creativity. No, it's called...
Don't say that.
I'm joking. It's Time Management 101 because it really is like a 101 course. So it isn't like a severe deep dive into any of these individual tactics or strategies, but I break down a bunch of different tactics and strategies. So I think the biggest thing with this course is that for me, I wanted everyone to know that like this isn't like a Jeff knows everything about time management, because that's certainly not the truth. Like I actually got so much out of doing this course because I thought through a lot of things that I do, but I don't do as well as I should, or that I talk about, but I don't do often, which was really fun to get through. And so like, it was really a journey for me, but it's breaking down like the struggles that we all go through with time management, feeling like we either don't have enough time or we think we should have enough time, but we're not utilizing right, and we still have things that never get done for whatever reason. Not knowing what we should or should not move off our plate, and not truly understanding where our time goes. And so we walk through in the course on what I believe the foundations of good time management are, or the biggest foundation, and then how to analyze your time usage. And then we walk through a few different exercises and strategies that you can go through and put in place to better manage your time and to be a little more efficient with your time, and to hopefully just grow with that and start this sort of snowball effect. See, if you can be a little more efficient with your time, it actually frees up a little bit of time so that you can put a little bit more time into being a little bit more efficient, and then get more efficient. It's like this cool little positive snowball. So like that's sort of what I'm hoping people take away from it, is just these little tweaks of this thing or that thing that I can put in place and save myself a little bit of time, because that little bit can go a really long ways. So I'm excited about it. I hope people are taking away out of it. Like I said, I got a lot out of it. So like, even if you don't get anything out of it, like, I mean, I grew. So.
I am confident, Jeff, that they're going to get something out of it. And here's why. And I don't mean to like say a lot of positive things about you and like make people crash their car on their way to work. Like, guys, do not swerve off the road. Like, deep breath in, deep breath out. If you need to pull over, feel free. But Jeff, a lot of my time management that I have developed from having numerous roles in education, things like that, a lot of it is because of you. Like, you've taught me a ton about how to manage my time over our friendship, working together. I mean, for like 3+ years. So I honestly, when you said you were doing this course, I'm like, it's about darn stinking time, because there are a number of things that I'm like, yep, I do that because Jeff taught me that, or he gave me that suggestion one time, and I'm just excited. And to be honest, guys, if you're not sure if you want to commit the time to taking this Time Management 101 course in Teach Better Academy, there actually is a blog series that just released that is a lot of just information, tips, and tricks, and maybe you'll get your mind going to consider actually diving into the course as well. Yeah.
And like Ray said, it is over on teachbetteracademy.com. If you already have the membership, the subscription membership, it's already in your My Courses tab. If not, obviously you can just go over there and check it out. So I hope you do. I hope you take something away from it. And like all of our courses, the 30-day money-back guarantee anyway. So if you get on there and you're like, never mind, I forgot which one Jeff was. This isn't who I thought it was. And you want to jump out, you can. But I really do. I hope you take a look at it, because I really do think it can help. I think there's something in there for everyone, regardless of what your particular struggle is. We all struggle for different reasons with our time management, based on our home life, our actual job, and our positions, and our roles and our responsibilities, the way our minds work. So all of that factors into what our actual individual struggles are. But I do think there's something in the course for everyone, regardless of what it is. So.
I never thought about the variety of things people could have in their way to feeling successful with time management. And it's truly, it's true. Every single person has something different. I'm thinking of team members on the Teach Better team. We all have different struggles. Cool. I'm excited for people to dive into the course.
And that's why there's no one-size-fits-all solution either, right? Because what works for me isn't going to work for a school teacher, typically. It's going to be something different, or a variation of it. So,
interesting.
There you go.
Well, guys, go check that out. If you haven't been in Teach Better Academy, you can actually learn about it. Just go to teachbetter.com, click on the Academy. It's right in the top where it's under what we do on the website. You can read about the Academy. You can actually sign up. It's a free account. And then if you decide to take a free course, then you can be a free account member forever. But diving into the Teach Better Academy membership just kind of gets you like all of the things, the workshops, the full courses, everything in between. So go check that out over at teachbetteracademy.com and let us know what you think. Like, DM me and be like, guys, Jeff's one strategy here was really good, but don't tell him, because he'll get all like, arrogant and a big head. And just feel free to tell me how you think of the course. That'd be awesome. And then we'll just tell Jeff it wasn't that good.
Sounds good. Sounds like a good plan. All right, let's talk about something that was good. See the transition?
Ooh, this podcast episode.
Yes. Ray got super excited for it, and may or may not have got herself a book in the end of the whole thing. But we're excited to have it on. So Michelle Dickinson she's a mental health advocate. She's a TEDx speaker. She's an author, and she's just super, super passionate about advocating for mental health and making it something that we can talk about in all aspects of her life. I really enjoyed her story about how she's gotten to where she is now, and now she's working towards just trying to work with more educators and school districts and make a positive impact in our world of education. So super happy to have her on. Some really cool tips that she drops along the way that I thought were really, especially in that, what is that question, like 5, 6, something like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you ask for advice, some really good stuff there. So you'll have to pause there and make sure you take some notes and make some adjustments based on those tips. But I'm super excited to dive into this. Ray, anything you want people to take away?
I'm a fan. I'm getting my copy in the mail. And so if anyone wants to do a book study with me, sign me up, DM me.
We're also giving away a copy later on in the episode, so make sure you listen through and get that copy from Michelle as well. So with that, let's get into episode 224 with Michelle Dickinson.
Hey everyone, we'll be right back to that episode, but I do want to give a big celebration to the brand new course that was just released in the Teach Better Academy. Guys, it's all about time management. It's called Time Management 101, and it was created by my almighty co-host, Mr. Jeff Gargas. No, for real. I mean, I've learned a ton of time management strategies from Jeff, and I'm thrilled that he's finally bringing this expertise to our Teach Better family. So go check out all the details and this full course over at teachbetteracademy.com and tell us what you think. All right, let's get back to this episode.
All right, we're here and we are chatting with Michelle Dickinson. And Michelle, so awesome to have you on the podcast. Super excited to dive into your story, learn more about you and everything you got going on. Before we get too far into things, how are you feeling right now?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, Michelle, I'm thrilled that you're here. Before we dive into kind of all the fun, will you mind sharing a little about yourself, kind of answering that age-old question of what you do?
What do I do? I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. No, seriously.
Me neither. I get that. Me neither, girl.
Oh, wow. What do I do? So for the last 19 years, I was in big pharma and decided that I was going to follow my heart. And now I am the owner and entrepreneur of a mental health company. So what I'm up to is I want to create more compassion and understanding in the workplace around mental health. And I want people to be empowered around their well-being. So that's really what I'm up to.
Did everyone else just stand up and clap? I just want to confirm. Did anyone else have that reaction?
And so, Michelle, talk to me about, I know you've done quite a few things. I know you've written a book as well. Can you talk to us about the book and kind of give us, I think that'll give us an insight into sort of what you're talking about, what your mission is as well?
Sure. So I was nominated to give a TED Talk, and that was really what was the impetus for everything. So I gave a TED Talk about my experience growing up and loving my bipolar mother. And I did that because I wanted to help humanize mental health, because so often we run into people that just don't have an understanding of what mental illness is. So I thought if I could tell that story, I could be part of the change. And from the TED Talk led me to write my memoir, which is really a vivid reflection of the experiences that I grew up living in, with my mom's rapid cycling with bipolar, extreme mania to deep depression, to being hospitalized, to shock therapy. It was quite a roller coaster for me growing up with her. And it shaped me. It shaped me into the woman that I would ultimately become. And I'm in therapy to this day in my late 40s. So it's quite the journey.
And I want to talk, so the majority of our audience is typically are educators, administrators, and stuff. So when we talk about this, kind of breaking the stigma and talking about mental health in the workplace, what are your thoughts around this kind of concept, this talk within schools and school districts and classrooms?
Yeah, I think there's so much opportunity for us as adults to model good mental health hygiene. And I think it starts with all of us being more educated and aware and self-aware around our own well-being, because then we can model what it looks like to take care of ourselves beyond physical. So one of the things I've been doing is delivering a resilience program to educators to just sort of remind them of all the power that they do have in a situation like a pandemic where we might feel like we don't have any power. Because, it's hard to help a young one if we don't have that resilience within us and that strength within us, especially during these times.
Talking about I want to flip in this because I like talk. I'm flipping resilience into this overcoming a failure and fighting through failure. So this one something we always talk about and ask on our podcast. And this is to share a story with us about a time you've had a failure in your life. And so take us there with you. What happened? How did you overcome that? And then what did you take away from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest failure for me was when I was diagnosed with depression because of a major life event. So for me, I was adopted, so I thought I was immune to mental illness. I was like, I don't have my mother's genes, I'm going to be okay. But then I found myself dealing with a life event, and that life event was a divorce from my husband, who I'd been with for 19 years. And I never in a million years thought I would deal with this diagnosis of depression, but it was really hard. And I didn't know just exactly what to do. I mean, I knew what it looked like from afar, but to experience it and have a hard time with it. So fortunately for me, therapy was something I was comfortable with. So I reached out and got support. But, the biggest way that I overcame that, I will tell you, was, finding healthy vices. I think, I remember a conversation with my therapist saying, hey, can you just give me some antidepressants because I'm really struggling? And he was like, I really want you to try to find something that is a healthy vice for you. What do you want to do? So I started training for a triathlon. I threw myself into my physical health, and that gave me momentum that flowed into the other areas of my life. So that really was for me life-saving, being able to focus on my physical health, getting stronger, getting faster, and then ultimately it would help me in the other areas of my life. So yeah,
really is amazing when you focus on your if you can focus on your physical health and like your exercise and diet, what that can do for your mental health, and it just becomes this really nice connection there. So. Let's flip that around. Let's talk about a successful moment you've had, and kind of same thing. Take us there with you. What happened? Why was it a success for you? And then what'd you take away from that experience?
I would have to say my TED Talk. I mean, it's not too often you are asked to give a TED Talk. You put in the training. You work with a coach. I was very lucky. I had an amazing TED coach. And you write the talk, you reframe the talk, you eliminate words, you deliver it, then you deliver it again and again and again. And then finally you do it on the red dot. And that was terrifying, yet so exhilarating when I walked away. And I thought, God, that was the best training I think I have ever had, because I had to be powerful and I had to prepare to be powerful, and there was no room for error. But when I did it and it was captured and it was done, it was so incredibly fulfilling.
Michelle, selfishly, I'm like so happy that you're on the podcast right now, because I was just looking into and reading about TED Talks because they are so powerful. If anyone's listening right now and they haven't explored TED recently, go check out all the TED Talks. There's so many good ones on a variety of topics, education related, mental health related, truly everything. And I'm so thrilled that you have had this experience, because you should know I have 35,000 questions I want to ask you about your experience. But the coaching that you're talking about really is could you imagine if we brought that same model into our classrooms, that idea of having it be personalized and really have it be passion driven? I think that that's so inspiring. And I hope that everybody goes and, hunts down your TED Talk, because those are incredible conversations happening.
Yeah, thank you. And my TED Talk you will not find on the TED platform. You would only find it on my YouTube channel, because it was a TEDx experience and I kind of snatched it.
No, I love it though. But if it's a TEDx experience, that's fine. Head over to your YouTube and they'll be able to watch it. There's TEDx that happen all over the country, guys. So trust me, you will never run out of content with TED Talk. So go look. And Michelle, I just want you to know that I'm going to be bothering you with questions from here on out. I think it's so great that you did this. And I would love to hear more about your coaching experience and everything else. But while I don't want to monopolize this entire conversation around this, I do just want to congratulate you for doing that. And it just sounds incredible. If you had to kind of pinpoint what's exciting you right now, and maybe about education, maybe around mental health, just everything you're doing. What's kind of fueling your fire and keeping you excited about the work you're doing?
So, I don't know that I'm excited. I feel a sense of urgency. So, where I live in New Jersey, the Northeast is getting incredibly chilly. It's getting dark. We just changed our clocks. There is a anticipation of elevated depression and therefore elevated suicide. So for me, I am on a mission to mitigate the risk of people dealing in silence with mental illness and ultimately considering suicide. So what fuels me is getting out in front of groups of people, sharing with them my resilience program, reminding them what they can be doing for their well-being, getting them comfortable with the conversation of how am I doing and do I need to talk to someone? I'm on a mission, and I'm going to be relentless about it for educators, for the workplace. And I'm building with a suicide prevention expert. I'm building a program right now to help prevent youth suicide, because there's just we can't do enough to help people, especially now as the weather gets colder and we've been in this pandemic for so many months. I'm really worried about people.
No, it's so important that we continue to take care of ourselves. Absolutely. Especially in this stressful time. Along those same lines, do you have advice that you'd want to give, whether they be educators or, just people in general who are trying to really, keep their mental health under control and make good choices that serve them well? What type of advice would you be giving?
Yeah, I have 8 resilience tips in my program. One of them, the fundamental one, especially now that we're in the thick of this election, is turning off the media. And I know it's hard, but honestly, even if the media is on in the background, subconsciously, it's consuming your mind. And stepping away from social media, protecting your brain, protecting what you're consuming. That is so important. It's gonna play a role in how you feel, and how you feel is so important. So I'd say check your connection with the news and media. And the other thing is, if you're working from home, play on your senses and refresh your workspace. There are 3 simple things that you can do to refresh your workspace, and that's change what you look at, change what you hear, and change what you smell. So you can simply, light a candle, put an infuser on with some oil. You can put a beautiful picture that you like looking at on the wall. You can listen to soft music in the background. Play on your senses and really reinvigorate your daily space where you are, and it'll help your mental health and your well-being.
Oh my gosh, there's so many times that I need to refresh. And the only thing I change is maybe standing up and taking a lap around my office or wherever I am. I love the idea of changing other senses, because sometimes, guys, that you can't necessarily move from your space, but you can change other elements. I've never even thought of that. What a great suggestion. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, it works.
I'm feeling very, very good about the new candle I just bought. So
I know, right?
Plus, I'm like, good job, Jeff. Some really awesome tips in there, though. You're right, just those little things, those little changes. So I'm going to be much more focused on that here going forward. Michelle, we didn't talk about this beforehand, but you did mention that you wanted to give away a copy of your book.
Yeah.
Are we still up for that?
Well, we're up for that. I'm in.
So
Ray wants a copy of the bok. You can just send it over here. Yeah, Michelle, I'm going to give you my address. Our listeners don't need it. I need it.
So this is how this typically works. Is typically we give listeners something that they need to do on social media for us. And usually I make it way too difficult. So let's make it easy. They just need to tweet out at us. At Teach Better Team, and Michelle, could give us your Twitter handle, and then can you give us just a question that they can tweet out an answer to, and that's what they'll do to enter, and then we'll select someone randomly.
Here's the question: Why does Ray deserve to win the book? That would be the great. Oh, is that not okay? Never mind. Sorry, maybe that's not the right question.
That could be the question. Okay, so I'm at
M Dickinson, MDICKINSON 13 is
M Dickinson 13. And what's a good question we can ask? Maybe is there something like that kind of talks about the book? Maybe a question that you ponder a lot when you're working with people or talking with people. I'm putting you totally on the spot. I understand that.
No. I mean, and so here's the thing: we're living through a pandemic. My question to most people is, when was the last time you gave yourself grace?
Ooh,
and just cut yourself a break? Yeah. Yes. When was the last time you gave yourself grace that you're doing the best you can during a pandemic and you're trying to hold it all together? You know, like, God, we got to give ourselves grace.
I love that question, even if it wasn't connected to getting a free book away. So that's a great question. So answer that question for us. Make sure you tweet out at us, and we'll pick someone to get a copy of Michelle's book. So awesome. Appreciate you doing that. Let's keep having some fun here. We're going to do the next 6 questions. Your goal, Michelle, is to answer each one in 15 seconds or less. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
What is one tech tool that you cannot live without?
I don't know. I guess Instagram. I hate to admit
it. I love that one.
I hate to admit it. No, it's not necessarily good.
What's a book that you read right now?
Okay, a book that I'm not reading right now that I adore and go back to and refer to is Loving What Is by Byron Katie.
Who do we need to follow on Twitter or Instagram today?
Me.
You can give us up to 3. You. Okay. What's is the Instagram handle the same as the Twitter, or is it different?
No, Instagram is different. I don't have these memorized. Great.
Here, I can tell you, Michelle's Instagram is Michelle Dickinson 71.
Yeah. See, Ray's already stalking you, so that's good.
I did. I'm looking her up right now.
Give us a good YouTube channel, website, or podcast you think educators should check out.
Educators, I think everyone should be watching Joe Rogan. I just think Joe Rogan has the most authentic conversations.
He really does have authentic conversations. Give us a daily, weekly, or monthly routine every teacher or everyone really should get into.
So there's another book, called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And he talks about things that you should be doing for yourself before you do anything for anyone else. So I think for me, it's the meditation and gratitude.
And what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
No regrets.
No regrets. Well, there is no regrets of you being on this podcast. That's for sure. I love it. Love it. Michelle, I do want to make sure that our listeners get to connect with you, not only to hopefully win a copy of the book so that they can do a book study with me on it, because that is my major priority after this conversation, but also that they can follow you on Twitter and Instagram and just continue to connect with the wonderful suggestions you have for us taking care of ourselves as we continue to support and take care of others. Would you mind sharing how people can stay connected?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me is through my website, which is michelledickinson.com. And at the bottom of that page, you can get all of my social handles there and my YouTube channel. I'm doing a series called Michelle's Conversations That Matter, focused on mental health topics with mental health experts and individuals who have navigated different types of mental illness. But the other thing that I really want people to know is my resilience program for educators has been getting rave reviews, and I really want to reach more educators and help them be empowered around their well-being, because they have to take care of themselves, and I would love to be the person to help them with that.
Such important conversations going on, so very important right now, especially even more so in our world of educators and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to get through right now. So appreciate being here, Michelle. You can find all the links and all the resources, everything we talked about in this episode over at teachbetter.com, as well as those important links for connecting with Michelle, keeping this conversation going, checking out the resilience program over there. So make sure you head over to show notes at teachbetter.com for all of that. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you can give us a rating and a review, we'd really appreciate that as well. And let's keep taking this one step further. Think of just 3 of your colleagues who need to hear these amazing stories and connect with these amazing people. Just share this podcast with them. Michelle, I so appreciate your time and your knowledge and your stories and everything that you brought to this episode. Super excited for people to listen to this and to connect with you and to continue to have these really, really important conversations. Thank you for taking some time out and hanging out with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Until next time, let's get out there. Let's teach better.